We meet again for another lesson. With me, I'm Madam Gan, your teacher. So today we're going to look at the Form 4 lesson. So this is lesson on Unit 5 and the topic is Globetrotting. This is from your textbook, Full Plus 4. As usual, before we start, let's look at the learning standards. So we have the main skills, reading 3.1.2, understand specific details and information in extended text on a wide range of familiar topics. And then we have writing 4.1.2, explain causes and consequences of actions, events or simple processes. And then the complementary skill, we have reading 3.1.5, recognize with little or no support the attitude or opinion of the writer in extended text on a wide range of familiar topics. Look at this picture. This guy is at Stafford. So who is he? Now let's watch this video on at Stafford.
Finally tonight, you might remember our person of the week, Ed Stafford, that man attempting to hike the entire length of the Amazon River. Everyone told me it was impossible, Ed said, and I wanted to prove them wrong. Today, he did. Here's Bill Weir.
If you think your summer vacation has been too steamy or too stingy, trust me, you've got nothing on this guy. Ed Stafford has spent the last 2.5 years machete whacking and snake dodging. Partly for rainforest awareness, mostly to be the first.
It's very easy to go into the jungle for 2 days and great fun. For a week, it's a bit more of an ordeal. For 2 years, it's ridiculous.
Of the 4,000 plus miles, his feet have been wet for 1,000. He's worn out 3 pairs of boots, 4 pairs of Crocs, and 2 pairs of rubber wellies. After his original partner quit, a friendly Peruvian named Cho offered to join him for a few days and never left. And together they survived anaconda and piranha, foot rot and dysentery, cocaine smugglers and hostile tribes.
There's 5 canoes full of Amerindians, half of them with bows and arrows drawn, half of them with shotguns, and all the women had machetes, and they were absolutely livid.
But when we joined him, we realized it is the monotony that tests you most here. Clothes that never dry, mosquitoes that never quit.
Ow! Ow!
And a stifling humidity that makes a hammock feel like a coffin.
Well, that was fun.
But while the jungle never relents, neither did Ed. And after a dip in his finish line, the Atlantic Ocean, he's rehydrating with a bit of bubbly.
Everyone told me I was crazy when I was doing this. Yeah, anyone can achieve what they want to achieve if they work hard enough.
Bill Weir, ABC News, New York.
Dear pupils, so who is Ed Stafford? Here is some information about him. So Edward James Stafford, known as Ed Stafford, born 26 December 1975, is a British explorer. He holds the Guinness World Record for being the first human ever to walk the length of the Amazon River. Stafford now hosts shows on Discovery Channel. Ed Stafford was born in Peterborough, Cambridgeshire, England, and raised in Leicestershire. What do you think of Ed Stafford? Well, you can answer by filling in the table with suitable answers. So there are a few WH questions here, like who is the adventurer, where did he go, when did he complete his adventure, what was the place he went to, how long was the adventure, and why was he successful. Now we are moving on to the second part, which is reading. So before you start reading, you can do a bit of discussion. Do you enjoy walking? Why and why not? What's the furthest you have ever walked? Okay, what was it like? So if there are friends with you, you can have a discussion on this. Okay, now we go to B. Read the text quickly and choose the best title for your reading text. So it's either title A, B or C. A will be exploring the Amazon. Ed Stafford's amazing journey across the Amazon River. Or title B, Amazon Adventure, one man tries to save the rainforest. And then C, Walking the Amazon, the incredible story of Ed Stafford.
Module 5. Globetrotting. 5A. Read.
B. Read the text quickly and choose the best title, A, B or C.
When British explorer Ed Stafford announced that he wanted to become the first person to walk the 4,000-mile length of the Amazon from source to sea, most people said that he could not do it. They said there was no way any human could survive such a long and dangerous journey. This made Stafford even more determined to prove them wrong. In April 2008, Stafford set off with another trekker who returned home after 3 months. Stafford continued and was joined by a Peruvian forester, Cho, who stayed with him until the end. Stafford had estimated that it would take him a year to complete the journey. However, by the time he reached the Atlantic Ocean, on the other side of the continent, he had been walking continuously for 860 days. Throughout the expedition, he had to carry 40 kilos on his back, which required a lot of strength. A lot of this weight was batteries for his satellite video phone and laptop, which he used to write a blog of his experiences. Along the way, Stafford faced many dangers and challenges. He and Cho often had to cross swamps and rivers with only small inflatable rafts. They came across giant poisonous snakes, electric eels, jaguars, crocodiles, monkeys, and many dangerous insects. They were continuously attacked by mosquitoes, and Stafford was stung twice by scorpions during the journey. A fly buried itself into his head, and he also suffered a tropical skin disease. Sometimes they were forced to survive by eating whatever they could hunt or find. Their diet sometimes consisted of plants, piranha fish, wild cats, and even tortoises. Some of the dangers they faced were from humans. The maps they used were often unreliable, and on several occasions they arrived at areas to get supplies and found that logging companies had completely cleared them away. There were problems with the native people too. Several isolated communities living in the jungle saw Stafford and Cho as a threat and chased them with knives and guns. On one occasion, they avoided an attack by agreeing to pay the community chief to be their guide. Many people found it difficult to understand why Stafford wanted to put his life in danger. He explained that no one had achieved anything like it before. That was a good enough reason for doing it. Moreover, he hoped his expedition would make people more aware of the destruction of the rainforest. Sometimes wanting to be a record breaker and the need for adventure can push people to incredible achievements. If that can also help a good cause, it makes it even more remarkable.
For the reading text we did just now, we have exercise. So this is exercise C. Read again and answer the questions. So you have to choose A, B, C or D. Read each question carefully to get an idea of what you are looking for and underline the section in the text where the answer is found. When a question refers to the whole text, avoid options which are true but refer only to the part of the text. Number 3, make sure you have chosen the correct answer by eliminating the wrong options. And then avoid options which sound logical but are not mentioned in the text. Include a word or phrase from the text but do not mean the same thing. And overgeneralize using words like always, all, every, and others. So let's look at the first question. When Stafford said that he was going to walk the Amazon, so people thought that, so their options here A, he was strong enough to achieve it. B. He would die if he tried to do it. C. He was brave enough to try. D. If he was determined, he would succeed. So the answer is B. He would die if he tried to do it. Okay, let's look at number 2. What is not true about Stafford's journey? A. It took him longer than he expected. B. A Peruvian was with him for most of his journey. C. The batteries he had to carry weighed 40 kilograms. Okay, D. The person he started off with didn't complete the challenge. So the answer is C. The batteries he had to carry weighed 40 kilograms. Okay, let's look at number 3. What was the cause of Stafford's skin disease? A. A scorpion. B. A fly. C. His diet. D. It is not clearly mentioned. So the answer is D. So now for number 4. How did a community chief help Stafford and Cho? A. He showed them where to go. B. He agreed to stop the attacks if they left. C. He explained to isolated communities that they weren't a threat. D. He paid the native people so that they wouldn't harm them. So the answer is A. He showed them where to go. Okay, number 5. What was the main reason that made Stafford go on the expedition? So the answer will be, let's look at the options. A. He wanted to be the first to walk the Amazon. B. He wanted to save the rainforest from destruction. C. People believed he couldn't do it. And D. He needed to prove something to himself. So the answer is A. He wanted to be the first person to walk the Amazon. Now for exercise D, we are still doing the reading exercise. Find words in the text to complete the table below. Then try to add a few more words in each category. So you have geographical features such as river, water creatures, crocodile, land animals, snake, bugs, fly. So remember that you can find words in the text to complete the table below, and then you can add few more words of your own. Okay, so let's look at the answers. Geographical features. So you have river, so you can have other words such as sea, ocean, swamp, jungle, rainforest, lake, mountain, hills, and others. So for water creatures, you have crocodile, you have snake, eel, dolphin, whale. Then you have other words that you can write on by maybe looking in dictionaries or encyclopedia, or even searching on the internet. Okay, then you have land animals, you have snake, so you have monkey, you can write elephant, tiger, jaguar, and many others. Let's look at bugs. So you have fly, you can write spider, mosquito, bee, wasp, cockroach, and many more. We are moving on to the next item, which is the vocabulary. So today you're going to learn suffixes for people. So what is noun or are noun suffixes? So suffixes are affixes that attach to the ends of the base words, okay, to create new words or new forms of words. The following suffixes are more noun suffixes that create names for people, such as ist for a person, in of or belonging to, ess denoting female persons. Then you have er, ar, eur, ier, or or ur. So these are agent.
Suffixes with ist: art, artist; chemistry, chemist; dentistry, dentist; guitar, guitarist; journal, journalist; linguistics, linguist; lobby, lobbyist; novel, novelist; nutrition, nutritionist; orthodontia, orthodontist; optometry, optometrist; pharmacy, pharmacist; philanthropy, philanthropist; piano, pianist; psychiatry, psychiatrist, psychology, psychologist, racism, racist, reception, receptionist, science, scientist, therapy, therapist.
Comedy, comedian. Electricity, electrician. Grammar, grammarian. Guard, guardian. History, historian. Library, librarian. Magic, magician. Mathematics, mathematician. Music, musician. Obstetrics, obstetrician. Pediatrics, pediatrician. Physic, physician. Politics, politician. Rhetoric, rhetorician. Statistics, statistician. Surgery, surgeon. Technical, technician. Vegetable, vegetarian. Veterinary, veterinarian.
Suffixes with s. Actor, actress. Author, authoress. Duke, duchess. God, goddess. Launderer, laundress. Master, mistress. Poet, poetess. Priest, priestess. Prince, princess. Seam, seamstress. Steward, stewardess.
Some names for people that appear to end in an ear, or a suffix were borrowed from a foreign language and do not have base forms. Ambassador. Astronomy, astronomer. Author. Bar, barrister. Cash, cashier. Contract, contractor. Doctor. Fight fire, firefighter. Dig grave, gravedigger. Grocery, grocer. Keep house, housekeeper. Jewelry, jeweler. Law, lawyer. Radiography, radiographer. Restaurant, restaurateur. Retail, retailer. Senate, senator. Translate, translator. Treasure, treasurer. Tutor.
Here is an exercise for suffixes. Change the words in the box into people by adding suffixes er, or, ian, or ist. Then fill in the gaps in the sentences below. So you have choices, art, select, direct, electric, guitar, library, manage, own, politics, survive, write, and the last one is cash. So there are 12 sentences here. So try to write the suffixes for people. Let's look at the answers now. Number 1, have you ever heard of the Italian? So the answer will be artist Leonardo da Vinci. Okay, number 2, she has been a stamp. Answer will be collector for ages. Okay, number 3, many Americans think that Winston Churchill was the greatest politician of the 20th century. Then number 4, if you need a certain book, the librarian will help you look for it. Number 5, he always wanted to be a writer, so we weren't surprised when his first novel came out. Number 6, the manager of the football club resigned because it was the 4th defeat in a row. Number 7, the owner of the red Toyota should move his car because it is blocking the emergency entrance. Number 8, he was the only survivor in a bus crash that killed 3 people. Number 9, Mike is an electrician. He helps the neighbors with lighting and wiring in their houses. Number 10, the film director gave the whole crew the afternoon off. Shooting would start at 9 in the morning. Okay, number 11, he started her career as a guitarist but then played the saxophone in a band. And the last question, Lisa has been working as a cashier at the shopping mall for 10 years. She loves her job dearly. We have another exercise. Here, this is from your textbook. Complete the table with nouns that refer to people. Use the words in the box and a suitable suffix. Make any necessary changes. So you have words travel, visit, reception, inspect, art, hike, hunt, science, collect, track, survive, cycle, explore, instruct, report, hairstyle, compete, biology. So the first one, in the first column, ER, it will be traveler, OR will be visitor, and IST is receptionist. So try to write a suitable suffix. So here are the answers. So you have for ER, you can write hiker, hunter, tracker, explorer, and reporter. And for OR, the suffix that has OR, so the answer will be inspector, collector, survivor, instructor, and competitor. For suffix IST, you have artist, scientist, cyclist, hairstylist, and biologist. For the last part of the lesson, we have writing. So today, it is writing an account of a true event. So read the account and answer the questions. Number 1, when and where did the event take place? Number 2, how did the writer feel during and at the end of the experience? Number 3, which tenses does the writer use? Number 4, which linking words or phrases does the writer use? And then the last question, number 5, how does the writer manage to make the account exciting? So let's look at the text now. It was the third day of a marvelous holiday I was having on the island of Penang in Malaysia. The hotel was enormous, which meant the swimming pool was crowded every day. I learned to get up early and save a sun lounger by leaving my towel on it. After that, I was usually starving. So I enjoyed a delicious breakfast in the hotel restaurant. Later, I'd go down to the pool and enjoy a swim. But on that day, as I approached the sun lounger, I was astonished to see my towel on the floor and a teenage boy on the lounger. I was furious, so I picked up my filthy towel, waved it at him and said, "What's this?" He replied that it was a towel. I explained that it was my towel and he just smiled and said, "Maybe the wind blew it off." This boy was driving me up the wall. I shouted so that everyone could hear. "It's very rude to steal someone's sun lounger, you know." Then I turned round to leave, but as I turned, I slipped and fell into the pool. Everyone thought it was hilarious, especially the boy on the sun lounger. I just wanted the ground to open up and swallow me. This is the exercise for the writing text just now. So B, read the account again and find words that mean. Number 1, very nice. So this is from paragraph 1. So the answer is marvelous. Number 2, very big. Also from paragraph 1. So the answer is enormous. And then number 3, we have very hungry. And then you can find the answer in paragraph 1. So the answer is starving. And then 4, very tasty. Also from paragraph 1. So the answer is delicious. And then number 5, the answer is in paragraph 2. We have very surprised. So the answer is astonished. Number 6, very angry. So the answer is furious. It is also from paragraph 2. Then we have very dirty, also from paragraph 2. The answer is filthy. And then from paragraph 3, very funny. So the answer is hilarious. This is another exercise. It is exercise C. Replace the strong adjectives in the sentences below with very and the adjectives in the box. So you have bad, tired, cool, small, pleased, and interesting. So number 1, we stayed at a tiny cottage in the woods. So you can replace tiny with, the answer is very small. So you can write, we stayed at a very small cottage in the woods. Number 2, I found the cruise down the river fascinating. So the answer is very interesting. I found the cruise down the river very interesting. Number 3, Tina had forgotten to bring her gloves and her hands were freezing. So the answer is very cold. So you can write, Tina had forgotten to bring her gloves and her hands were very cold. And then number 4, we were exhausted after walking to the top of the hill. So the answer is very tired. You can write, we were very tired after walking to the top of the hill. Number 5, Mr. and Mrs. Wright were delighted to win a holiday to Thailand. So the answer is very pleased. Mr. and Mrs. Wright were very pleased to win a holiday to Thailand. And number 6, we wanted to go swimming but the weather was dreadful. So the answer is very bad. So we wanted to go swimming but the weather was very bad. Before we start our writing, let's look at some of the tips. Think about a funny, embarrassing, scary, or annoying experience that you have had and write about it. So let's look at the tips. When writing an account of a true event, follow the plan for writing a story, which is on page 33. So the next on the right side is the page 33. So number 2, use the first person. You can use I or we. Then divide your account into paragraphs. So you must have paragraphing. Then use past tenses and linking words or phrases. Try to make it interesting for the reader by using number 1, direct speech, questions and exclamation marks. Then use adverbs, adverbial phrases. For example, suddenly, fortunately, to my surprise. A variety of adjectives are also useful, such as awful instead of bad. And also expressions or idioms like I jumped out of my skin, my heart was in my mouth, and then you can write other idioms. So let's look at the tips on page 33. When writing a story, so a story is also an account or a narration. Always keep the given sentence in mind and plan your story around it. So you're writing, if they give you a sentence, so you must remember that sentence. Okay. Next, do not change the given sentence. Number 2, use past tenses, past simple, past continuous, and past perfect. Then also use linking words or phrases. So the words or phrases can indicate time and the sequence of events to express result, consequence, cause, reasons, and to give emphasis. Then you can use direct speech. So this will make the situation seem real. And then use questions or exclamation marks to make the story more exciting. Last, use expressions or phrases like, it was too good to be true, I couldn't believe my eyes, I was in or I was out of luck. So you can write I was in luck or I was out of luck. Unluckily or luckily. So next, it was a real shock, all of a sudden or suddenly. The next thing I knew, to my surprise, fortunately or unfortunately, without thinking, within minutes. I held my breath, and there was no hope left. So in the next slide, we're going to see sample essay 1.
An embarrassing experience. I was walking along the road to school one day and I met my friend, Lim. He made a suggestion to skip school and go to the movies. I refused as my father is very fierce and strict. After much persuasion, I gave in. There was a movie starring Will Smith and as an avid fan, I couldn't refuse. Then, we set off to the cinema together, bought our tickets, popcorn and drinks and settled down comfortably. As we were early, the lights were still on. We watched people come in groups, families, and there were couples too. Some of them looked like school students playing truant like us. As I turned around, I caught a glimpse of my uncle, Andy, and Aunt Jane walking in. I sank into my seat quickly to avoid being spotted. I signaled to Lim that there was someone I didn't want to see, and Lim, being Lim, made it more obvious by turning around and asking who and where, loudly. It made me sit even lower in my seat. To make things worse, they came and sat in the row behind us and were saying to each other how I would have loved to come to this movie as I adored Will Smith. They were even commenting about the students playing truant. Soon the movie began and I was glad when the lights were turned off, but I didn't enjoy the movie at all for fear of being spotted. So, I sat there like an astronaut, peering over the front seat. Every now and then I would sneak a peek at my aunt and uncle. I was sure they were looking at me. Anyway, there was another hurdle. I had to leave the cinema without being spotted. So, when the movie ended and the lights came on, I sat there waiting for everyone to leave, but my uncle and aunt just sat there talking. Then, after a little while, they got up and walked to the doors. As soon as the coast was clear, I made a dash for the door and tried to make a quick exit via the stairs. To my horror, my uncle and aunt were standing there smiling. I tried to say something, but all that came out were sounds that meant nothing. I stuttered and spluttered so much. My uncle merely said, "I hope you have learnt your lesson. We saw you as soon as we came in and I am sure your father will be very disappointed in you. We hope you won't do it again." After giving me a piece of their minds, they sent us to school. This was the most embarrassing moment in my life.
How was sample essay 1? Do you get some ideas to write your account? So let's look at sample essay 2.
An embarrassing experience. I knew this dreaded day would come sooner or later. It came too fast, and there I was, in the sterile waiting room of the dental clinic, miserable with butterflies in my stomach. My parents told me to sit up, stop wringing my hands, and to take deep breaths to keep calm. It worked. I was calm for maybe 2 seconds when I heard my name being called. I pretended to be deaf, but my mother nudged me to get up. I forced myself to step forward and promptly stumbled over a toy left lying around by one of the kids. My clumsiness got me the attention of everyone in the room. Being scrutinized by that many pairs of eyes was too much, and I scuttled towards the consultation room as fast as I could. I had refused my parents' offer to accompany me. I meant to show them that I was brave enough to face the ordeal on my own. I regretted it. Thankfully, I forgot my anxiety as I looked around the dentist's room. Tools of different sizes were arranged neatly in a tray on the tiny table, which was connected to a chair with buttons and a light hanging right over it. I avoided looking at my dentist in the eye as I took my spot on the chair shakily. I almost jumped out of the seat when all of a sudden the chair moved and I was lying down facing the bright yellow light. The dentist spoke in a soothing voice behind her mask. Everything was going smoothly and I was quite proud of myself. Then disaster struck. I was picking up the cup of water placed next to the chair for patients to rinse their mouths when I caught sight of the dental drill. Panic related to a bad childhood experience involving the drill kicked into me, and on reflex, I spat out the rinsing water right into the surprised dentist's face. I apologized profusely as I tried desperately to wipe away the water with a tissue, only to knock down the tray of instruments. The sharp instruments went flying, and something that looked like it could have poked a hole in my eye flew past centimeters from my face. The dentist tried her best to disguise her annoyance with a very fake smile. I pulled off the tissue napkin around my neck and bent over to pick up an instrument. Somehow, my head bumped the overhead light in the process, sending it swinging directly at the dentist's head. It knocked her off her chair and she ended up half conscious on the floor. As the dentist's assistants went to her aid, I retreated from the room. My parents and the other patients were standing near the door, alarmed by the commotion. Without a word, I dragged myself out. I knew they would find it hard to believe what had happened. It was the most embarrassing experience I ever had in my life.
I hope the sample essays are useful for you to get ideas to do your writing, and then you have learned to write an account. So this is the end of our lesson for today, and then we covered the topic Globetrotting from the textbook Full Blast. Okay, that's all for me. I'm signing off. I'm Madam Gan, and then thank you for watching this lesson. And do remember to subscribe to my channel. It is called Educator OmniTube. Signing off. Bye bye.